Hi, this is Eva with Once Upon a Timeline, and today I'm going to talk about some observations made about the human hand and the human thumb. Now, I did not make most of these observations. I have to give credit where credit is due. One of the people who did talk about this already is the channel The Greatest of These is Love, and you can see it here on my screen. And she talked about how she noticed that the human thumb now goes way down like that. You can almost make an L shape with it. And she does not remember being able to do that. I am not 100% on this one, but it does look weird to me when I do that. Somebody else on her channel also made an observation. Fix in Time noticed, does anyone think the pinky looks shorter? Okay, a little bit of disagreement, but I actually do think it looks shorter, but probably not for the reason that that person was discussing. Now, the third person who mentioned this, and this is actually the first I ever heard mentioned, was Mandela Affected. His channel called Mandela Affected. He mentioned a number of days back in one of his videos, mixed in with a lot of other stuff, that he had noticed that the human thumb looked a lot longer and a lot lower down on the hand. All of these observations I think are related, and good on you guys for noticing, because although my thumb has been hurting on and off for months, including the last few days, and I even looked at my hand thinking, I wonder what's changing, somehow I just did not notice this until somebody else brought it up. So good job for you guys. Now what I noticed here is if you kind of look at your hand, to me, if I put my hand about like that, and this thumb here looks about natural, normal to me, how I think it used to be. The thing is, now it's like this, and this does not look natural, normal to me now that I'm looking at it. Now this other person over here, Fix in Time, he thinks that or she thinks that the pinky is shorter. I think actually what's happening here is if you look at this hand, the pinky is actually attached further down to the side. I don't actually think my pinky is shorter. I think it is starting lower on the hand. I think this used to be straight across over here, and then the pinky would be higher and the other fingers would be higher. I think that's how it used to be, and then this was also higher. You know, it's ironic because right here is hurting even today and right now. So this video is very timely. Okay, so here's a picture of somebody else's hand. And you can see that this person really has a big thumb, and it's really low. And the other thing I've really noticed about my own thumb is my own thumb now is as long as my pinky. And it used to be, thumbs used to be short. They weren't as long as your pinky. And also another thing I noticed about my thumb is my thumb is really pointy now. I was just looking at it earlier today, and I thought maybe I had squashed it or something, but no, it goes back to being very pointy. It used to be very fleshy on the end, so that is an additional change that I've noticed. But you know, I didn't notice all these until after you guys, the other three people noticed a bunch of stuff, and I really started looking at it, so it kind of broke the dam of my mind of being not noticing. So very good on you guys. Okay, so what I think used to be was that this pinky here, it was kind of a straight shot across, and this pinky would come out over here. And now it's coming out down here. So that makes the pinky look shorter than it was. That is what I think is happening with my hand anyways. Okay, one other thing that I have been meaning to mention for quite some time, and I keep forgetting, but for the past 2 months or so, I keep banging my hand on some weird bone that is in the wrist. You can see I've marked it right here. There is a bone under there that is sticking out, and it is very uncomfortable because for some reason I often bang there, like if I'm honking my horn, or if I'm plopping my hand down on the table, I guess I'm lazy, I just plop it down. Well, there's a bone there now. Now, these motions I've done all my life with no problem, and every time I do them now, I slam that bone and it hurts, and then I'm surprised every time. I just haven't got it out of my system yet. I'm not sure how many more times I have to bang that bone before I figure out not to do that. But anyway, it's this weird little bone here. I do not remember there being a weird bone sticking out. But to be honest with you, this whole base of the hand looks totally alien to me. Um, I can't remember exactly what was in here. That's what bugs me. But I know it wasn't a giant jumble of weird-looking, pebbly, squished together bones and a giant bone sticking out the side for no apparent reason. Apparently, this bone is called the pisiform. That's what I keep banging on everything. If you can see here, it just doesn't look like it makes any sense to stick out like that. Going back here, I wonder if maybe this little pinky here is going to maybe slide down further and set on top of there. One thing I'm really noticing with all of these changes is that this increases your grasping ability and your maneuverability. You've got the fingers more around the side. You have more things that you can do with the hand. And I had kind of noticed this in recent months, even back 6 months ago even. I just noticed that it was a little easier to just kind of grab a ball. If somebody throws me a ball, I can just... before, I would have more problems with the ball popping out. And up till now, I had assumed it was just because I had become more dexterous. Maybe I had gotten better at catching the ball. But now I also wonder if it has to do with how the hand structure is, that the ball cannot escape as easily because you've got the pinky and the thumb wrapping around with more angle out the side here, getting a hold of that ball from all angles. So anyways, again, what we see seems to be some kind of improvements, so that's cool. And I have to give credit for a couple people really noticing this. And I just wanted to chime in with a couple things that I wanted to add that I had also noticed. I definitely want to recommend Mandela Affected's channel. He notices a lot of MEs that I don't notice. Also, here, the greatest of these is Love, this channel. She has this, it came off this video called Mandela Effect Anatomy Changes Hands and Hips. She also goes into the hips, and I'm going to let you guys watch that video because I don't really have anything to add there on what she's noticed, but she's noticed an interesting change in the hips recently. So definitely check that out. And that's it for today. Thank you very much. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.